What is up, my cool cats and kittens? It's Eddie from Eddie's Emporium, and it is episode 21. It's the 10th. It's 5 days until I'm 30. So I am in all different kinds of ways right now. Yeah, it's been a very, very busy day for me. I'm currently recording at 10 p.m. and quite frankly, I'm knackered. Very, very busy day. Of course, it's busy. It's the time of year for giving all your money away and just feeling mentally battered with crazy Christmas shoppers. So, hey, don't be a crazy Christmas shopper. Be a crazy e-shopper at my store. Make it easy. But no, as in we've got like quite a few bits to get through today. It's been quite a good moment for the business. Of course, it's the holiday period, the first holiday period in which Eddie's Emporium's been a fully fledged business. It's quite exciting. It's also very busy learning and adapting from being, just a customer in these types of hectic areas to also being a, business while also being a customer and learning the ropes around there. It's actually been a lot more well maintained in the way that I've approached the situation. It's probably not, I'm not expecting it to be manic, because I'm just not big enough to be manic yet. But it is certainly more positive than I ever anticipated being this period. So, silver linings. Some of the products have been selling well. The Retro Pack 2 is something that I was quite surprised started to sell really well in terms of especially the single packs. And it did kind of have a slight feeling just on that nostalgia baiting from Yu-Gi-Oh! It was something I did think, okay, there's something here. So I'm happy to start seeing some payoff from that. Avatar, again, it's everywhere at the moment, so I'm not expecting to start shifting much this soon at least, but it will start to come at some point. We've got some Persona 3 Reload reprints coming in English from Y Schwartz. I'm really excited about that because I'm also playing the game at the moment. A very good game if you've not played it. The Persona series is fantastic, especially if you like your turn-based JRPGs. If you've been playing Expedition 33, which I've not yet, but if you like that, you'll probably like this. In other news, I'm trying to think about getting maybe like a card scanner for the business. Nothing in the short term. It's certainly just a business expense in which it's not needed right now because there's other things to pay for. There's always something to pay for. It just feels that every 5 days there's just an invoice that pops up in my inbox being like, hey, I need your money. I'm just like, realize that there is also a moderation to be had here. I'm thinking maybe from a strategy moving forward in 2026, I'm going to prioritize key brands and try and not spread myself as wide. I think that'll be a goal for me to work on and have a bit more consistency in products that I want to create an audience around rather than kind of spread wide. But the goal when I started to spread wide was to kind of throw something at the wall and see what sticks, which obviously is still an experiment and will be continuously an experiment as the business goes, because you want to see what sells well, but also if there's an opportunity in other areas of the markets that aren't just obvious wins like Magic the Gathering or Pokemon, why Schwartz, or is there other specific Japanese niches that you can build into? So certainly won't be deviating too far away from that kind of mentality, but I think in 2026 it's to start thinking about consolidating areas that are strong in the business and building on that, and then once you kind of have that nice consistency to focus on other areas. So that's going to be quite fun. But a card scanner would be really useful on the basis of selling bulk, because as you know, if you are a card hobby enthusiast, which I'm gonna guess if you're watching this you kind of are, and maybe a cool guy who likes to subscribe to his Emporium, that you don't have the time or the energy. It's a very low dopamine, high reward activity where if you can sell bulk well and efficiently, because it's quite time consuming, you will make a lot of money. It's one of the highest profit areas you possibly can, because you're kind of looking at, and it's a good thing if you are getting into selling cards, you probably have a lot of it lying around. looking at kind of what's selling well in the meta version of the playing version of the game you got, whether that's Magic the Gathering, whether that's obviously One Piece, whether that's Yu-Gi-Oh, Pokemon. There'll be cards that inherently have a lot of value because they're key meta cards, and it's okay identifying them, but it's difficult to then go through your entire bulk to look for one card that's maybe worth £1. You might have 15 of them, but it might take you 2 hours to find, sort, arrange. So I need to find a consistently reliable way to sort out cards that isn't just relying on that card organizer there, because that's great in the short term, but I need to be able to set something off in the background and it kind of scan, log, put into like a spreadsheet, and then I can upload it to firstly my Shopify and then add it to my inventory in a more concise method, because it just doesn't translate well to a time and value output right now when I've got to be my social media guy, I've got to be my editor, business owner, finance director, and all them, kind of hats you wear being a one-man band business. So bulk's a hard thing, but bulk's something I'm certainly going to look into finding a way to do in 2026. And then an actual scanner for scanning TCG slabs. I find that my website, the slab pictures on there aren't bad by any shout, but they aren't the best and they could be better. And right now I feel either limited by the camera quality I have or the lighting quality I have. And I want to create a consistent theme throughout my website that looks professional, looks presentable. So it can't just be like a slab with good lighting. It has to make sure it's like flush. And I think maybe an actual photocopier scanner. That I know I've seen quite a few Reddit success stories on that, of specific scanners that will generate high resolution images that you can then pop into something like Canva, eBay, Shopify, depending on how you want to format your images. So that's another thing I'm looking into in 2026, which is interesting because when you look about how you started to present, and obviously loads of people will have opinions, and if you've got something to help me, drop me a comment in the comment section. But if you have lots of different ways that you can photograph, I remember when I first started, it was a lot more scrappy, even when how I posted, and it's quite a consistent progression upwards. So I'm a perfectionist by nature, or maybe perfectionist is probably like I'm an obsessive person by nature. So when I kind of get an idea that I want to go with, it's a very impulsive nature that I will kind of follow through quite aggressively on finding that best way to do it. And I'll probably not be happy with that one as well and go to the next thing, and on and on and on. Chaotic cycle. In a TCG news place, let me just have a look here. It has been quite a long week in regards to me, and I've not been able to keep up with much of the TCG news that's been falling around, but there have been a few things that have caught my attention. The first one was the Perfect Order is going to be the newest announced release set from Pokemon in English, and I believe the date that I've got written down here is March the 27th, 2026, and that's going to follow a lot of the Order Pokemon. And I think, I could be wrong here, I can't remember if the Order Pokemon are in ZA or something like that. I'm definitely missing a specific part of information, but yeah, it's going to be interesting to see. A lot of people are saying that it could include the Mega Greninja from the new ZA game, ZA. That would be an interesting gold card. Now, I can't think of a set that's included in Mega Greninja yet, but if that comes out, I think a lot of Greninja fans, because that's kind of the Charizard equivalent of a generation of kids, it would be very chased after. Obviously, seen how popular the previous illustration, special illustration rare was. That's ridiculous. I think this would go for a ton of money. But again, not about the money. I do think that it will have really cool arts, and with Megas right now, it's all rage. Pokemon also released their first partner booster packs, and I think that's going to be in parallel with the 30th celebration set. I think it's similar to a 2021 set where they released the starters from all the generations up until that point, and they released them in like a jumbo sized card in the celebrations, and then they also released them in a, I think you got like a 2-pack, 3-pack booster pack with it. So they're probably going to be doing something similar probably for this generation of cards. But honestly, with celebrations, we're going to get absolutely plastered with products. So I do hope they overprint it though, because I just want to be able to open packs. And I feel that, you know, Phantasmal Planes was a nice little sign, but I feel like Mega Dream is going to be horrific to get hold of. Hopefully I'm wrong though, and I hope you manage to get some pre-orders in. They have been popping on and off. Like I actually saw black and white Pokemon Center ETBs on the Pokemon Center website yesterday, albeit they were out of stock within, I think, like 20 minutes. I didn't get one, by the way. But it's a nice sign that they're still revisiting older sets. It's still not old by any shape or form. It feels old because I've never seen it on a shelf, but that's by the scalper. Don't buy from the scalper. But yeah, I suppose there is also been some other controversy again with PSA. Now I touched on the idea of it being a bit shady a while back, as well as multiple other people did, but there has been a case where it's came out and it's gone a bit viral where one person got offered their to buy scheme once it got graded. He took the offer up, and they were priced at PSA 9s, and it turns out they were PSA 10s. Now, you hear variations of this story, but one of the stories was you got offered, or they got offered the PSA 9 price. They chose to look up the certs after taking up the price, and he bought it, and they saw it at PSA 10, which obviously makes it look like they bumped up the grade after buying it. The other story I saw, and it could be a different person, was that they were getting offered PSA 9 prices on the offer screen, but in the picture you could see that they were marked and scanned as a PSA 10 as you can preview them. I think that could have just been an admin error. I wouldn't be getting a tinfoil hat on and being saying, like, you know, that they're ruining the business, they're taking hold of things, because it would just be it'd be suicide for them as a business. PSA are going to be still the front runner and everything and anything graded. But yeah, I don't think they intended to do that. But there's a lot of people that are angry at PSA. There are a lot of people that want to see PSA kind of fail in the grading scheme. A lot of people are anti-grading, and it's a good reason to have a go at them, but I don't really think it's how it seems. But I'm not them either, so make what you wish. Right, that's it from this episode. I'm super sleepy. I've got a meeting tomorrow. Well, it's actually an ADHD assessment at 7:15 a.m. It's probably why you see me all crazy haired and everything like that all the time, and I deviate on a tangent, so I'll keep you updated whether I get the lovely pre-birthday present of a ADHD official certification or whatever you call it. But yeah, if you have ever gone through one, drop me a comment. Let me know how it went, because I've got no idea. But all I know is they ask you a ridiculously long questionnaire, and it's definitely not for the... They're not built for people with ADHD. It's the most bizarre thing I've ever seen. Like I'm not going to get too far into it because I'll go off on tangent and get angry at things. But hope you're having a lovely week. I hope you've had a lovely weekend, and I hope you have a lovely rest of your week. I think I already said that, but I'll be 30 next time we speak, and yeah, old soul now. Ciao.